Hello, this is Christy. You may have seen this on podcasts. The camera zooms in on whomever's talking, then pulls back, then pushes in again when they make a point. It looks like they've got a camera operator doing it live, but they really don't. It's all done in editing, and if you use Riverside, you can do it in a couple of minutes. I'll show you exactly how right now. Here's why this matters. A static shot with nothing moves for about 45 minutes is hard to watch. Your audience will click away. The zoom effect does two things. It tells the viewer who to pay attention to, and it breaks the visual monotony so people stay engaged. It also solves a very practical problem. You can hide bad cuts. If you cut out an or a long pause, the jump cut may look jarring, and a zoom change at that exact point will make the cut invisible. Professional podcasters and YouTubers use this all the time. There's actually two techniques I want to show you, and the first one is you zoom in and out on a single speaker using the crop and the zoom tools. This is available in Riverside. The second is switching between different camera angles, like when you go from a two-person wide shot to a single speaker close-up. You combine these and they give you that polished dynamic look. So in every episode that I do, I usually change the camera about 80 to 100 times. So I want to show you this technique and also how to zoom in and out. Let's start. So we will start with the one that everyone's talking about, which is the actual zooming in. I've got this recording here with Chris Menard, so I'm showing side by side right now. I haven't added any scenes in this particular edit here. I want to open the podcast with me. So it's going to be just me on the screen, and then I'm going to show you this example of zooming in and out. This is quite easy to do. You see down in the timeline here where I've got the purple waveform, that's me talking for all of this portion. This is the introduction of the episode. I'm going to have to go and create a scene. So I'm going to go here towards the end where I actually introduce Chris to show up on the scene. Click and I bring my playhead in this location here, and it's very easy to add a scene. You just click on this little icon here, add scene, or you can press Shift and S. That's going to create a scene, and you notice how I've got now two scenes in here, the first one and the second one here. And I go back to the first scene, and the first thing I want to change is to make my video full screen. Now, I recorded with Riverside, so the separate tracks are available for me, so I can control each one on its own. I can click on my view, and you notice they are separate, but I want to change the layout of this scene, this first scene, and you notice it's selected down here. I want to change it to a single person view. You actually can do this very easily by just clicking layout here at the top, and you choose from one of the pre-built layouts. Let's choose the single one solo speaker view. You can see it right there, and that's going to change to me. If it doesn't change to the person you want, it's actually quite easy to switch the person showing by clicking on the video itself, and you go here to this drop down and you say, actually, maybe I don't want to show this person, I want to show the other person, and you can switch like this. But for me, because I'm me showing here, I want to switch back to me, and I'm showing full screen for this entire scene. Now, the zoom in and out effect is very easy to do. You basically go anywhere in this scene and you say, actually, right here, I want to maybe bring in a zoom on my shot. So I want to close up on my shot and then after a while go back out. This is that technique we're talking about. So I'm going to zoom in on the timeline here with Command and mouse wheel or Control mouse wheel on Windows. And I will choose a portion where I want to zoom in. Again, you bring the playhead in that location. You create a new scene in that place. So you click the Add Scene button. And before you make any other changes, you go to the point where you want to zoom back out. Let's say here. Click again on the scene in that location. So you see now I have isolated this one small scene where I want to be zoomed in. Click on the video itself. Confirm that you're making a change in this scene, and then you go at the top here and it says crop. If you click on this crop, you can zoom in and out using the plus and the minus, and let's click zoom in once. You don't want to zoom too much because you don't want to make the jump too big, but maybe, one or twice, and then you can actually click on the video to reframe it nicely. You see these helpful grids here to help you maybe stay in the center. And when you're done, you just click outside of the video area and Riverside should apply that crop that you made. Okay, so let's see what happens here. If I go before that scene and I play, Joining us today, I have my good friend. You see how the video zooms in. And if I go all the way to the end of that scene and I play here about Chris's YouTube channel, you see how it goes back. Now, I haven't chosen the exact best location for the zooming in and out, but this is essentially what's happening. You create a scene, you separate the segment that you want to zoom in on, and then you simply change the zoom level in that scene itself. Now, here's a practical trick that makes this really useful. You know, when you edit out a mistake or a pause and you cut your cut looks jumpy, the speaker's head snaps from one position to another. Well, instead of leaving that visible, you can use a zoom change right at the cut point. So from your normal framing, you go to a slightly tighter crop or vice versa. So then the viewer will think it's an intentional camera move rather than the bad cut, which disappears. If you look in my transcript here, you notice that I removed a sentence from the video. So right here, after I say certified trainer, there is a cut. So if you notice here, if I play now, you're going to see my head tilt to a side because of the cut of the difference of the content that I removed. Trainer. Currently, he works. So that's not very nice. So what I want to do now is I want to use this technique to zoom in right in that cut point. So I inserted that scene in here, and now I'm going to go to this particular scene and zoom in. But before I do this, I want to find also the point where I want to zoom back out, because I don't want to have to change the rest of the video now after I zoom in. So I'm going to go about here maybe, or even identify a different cut later on that I want to zoom out on, which might be here, and press Shift S again to insert a new scene, or press the button. And then this is the scene I want to change again. Click on that to select it, click on the video, go to crop, and zoom in once, maybe twice. You can try this. Make sure you fix the framing just a little bit like this, and then click outside of that, and then it will apply the zoom. So right now, if I play from before that scene, watch this. Trainer. Currently, he works as a senior trainer at... You notice how I zoomed in? Maybe it's not very perfectly centered. I'm going to just move like this a little bit just to adjust it. And now at the end of that scene, watch this. Subscribers featuring various... The camera goes right back out. So that's really the technique. You're just creating scenes, you're delimiting that segment and zooming in that segment, or zooming out, whatever you want to do. You can alternate between two zoom levels throughout your whole video, your normal framing and your punched in framing. Every time you make a cut, you can switch between them. It's the same technique the YouTubers use with two camera setups, or maybe except you only had one camera. So you're creating the second angle in post rather than recording a separate camera. So you use the crop tool. The second technique actually works when you have two or more speakers, and this is very common in interviews. Instead of zooming in on one person, you can switch between different layouts entirely. Here's this same recording with me and Chris standard side by side. So if I scroll down here in the edit, I have now revealed Chris on the video and we are side by side. And if I get to a point where my guest speaks for a while, I will create a new scene and change the layout to show just my guest, full frame, right? So this is the angles that I have to work with now. I've got three angles. I've got the wide, the guest close-up, and me close-up. Three angles which I switch between in every episode, pretty much all the time, switching between them when it feels natural. So when Chris is talking for a while, I may come down here and I switch to him. I'm going to just hide the deleted parts to make it cleaner to see what's happening here. So you notice this portion here where Chris talks for a while, this green part here, he goes on for a bit. I may want to switch to him for that part. I don't like to switch to the single person right when they start talking. I like to let them start speaking for a sentence maybe with us showing on the camera at the same time, and then switch to him. And then when he's about to finish talking, I switch back to us, let him finish talking, and then we carry on talking together while we are both on the screen. This is my workflow. I recommend it. It feels less jarring, and it doesn't take the viewer out of it by just switching right on the dot, as I say. So if you go in here, look, this is where Chris talks, and it really helps to have the colors on the waveform for the different people, because you know exactly when someone talks. And here is him talking. So I may let him speak for a while, And then right here in this point, I'm going to use maybe the cut, because we have a cut in here, use that as an opportunity to switch angles. So I place my playhead in here, I press to add a scene, and then I go, before I make any change to the layout, I go to the point where he's almost done talking, not when he's done talking, just when he's almost done talking, right here at the end. I'm adding a little buffer zone and then adding another scene right there. So exactly what I did before, I have isolated this particular scene. You see it right there, it's highlighted. And in this particular scene, I'm going to now switch to the single speaker layout by clicking layout here at the top and selecting solo speaker. If the solo speaker layout again puts me, I don't want to show me in this case. I want to switch here at the top to Chris right there. If I want to adjust how Chris looks, I can click on his video and do the same thing. Go to crop and zoom in maybe a couple of times. I know his microphone was in the shot here, so I can't really zoom in too much without being too close to get that microphone out. But this is okay, I suppose. Center him nicely and then click outside of the video to apply it. And look at this. Now, before that scene, it's both of us. Then we switch to him. He's talking for a while. And then when he's about finished talking, click back to both of us like this. And I like to have the side-by-side view when we both talk or we have a quick exchange. Having that side-by-side view in there helps really nicely. So I place scene breaks throughout the timeline, wherever the conversation naturally shifts. When my guest is telling a story, I switch to their close-up, and then when we're going back and forth, I stay on the wide shot. When I'm making a point, I cut to my close-up. There you go. So here's where the two techniques combine. I'm on my guest close-up, and they stumble over a word. I cut the stumble out, and right at that cut, I switch back to the wide shot. The angle change hides the edit completely. So you can also do the same thing with a zoom. Stay on the guest, but punch in tighter right at the cut point. Either way, the jump is gone. So this is the pattern that works. Let me give you a practical formula to follow. You start your show with you full screen. If you're the host, start with the wide shot for your intro. And then when you're, ready to introduce the guest, you cut to side-by-side view. And then when they start talking, you cut to whoever is speaking. You can use the zoom changes with the close-up shot to add movement. Push in for an emphasis, push back out for context. Every time you make an edit or remove a mistake, you can change the zoom level back and forth, and you can mask all of those cut points. Don't overdo it, though. You can let each scene breathe for about 15 to 20 seconds, or until the person has finished telling what they're talking about. So then you change back out. If you're changing every 5 seconds, it feels frantic and disorganized. So it's very exhausting. So, if you keep your zoom level, zoom changes, you keep them subtle, 15 to 20% maximum in or out, you want the viewer to feel the movement rather than just be distracted by the movement and always be thinking what's happening. So one more thing, when you zoom in on a speaker, check your captions. By the way, if you have captions and you're positioned on a wider frame, they might overlap with the face. I know maybe you don't use this for long form formats, but if you're doing social media clips and stuff like this, changing the camera like this can have the captions showing on the person's face. In this case, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. If I switch this one to 9:16, which is something you would do for a social media clip, and I go to my brand and I apply the brand, this will apply the captions. Now, the captions look nice if they are in the center of the video, like this, when both of us are on the screen. But what if you change a scene and there's just a person showing, like here, for example, I'm going to add a new scene. I'm going to swap the speakers here to put the guest on top. The captions are in the middle of the view. But what happens if I switch? Maybe I'm going to insert a scene right here and another one right here. And for that scene, I may want to switch just to the guest full screen, right? So I'm going to go to the layout and say solo speaker, and I'm going to swap either me or the guest. Doesn't matter who it is, but watch this. You see now how the captions are on my face, which doesn't really look nice. So how do I change the captions just for that scene to be out of it, right? Out of the face and at the bottom. So with that scene selected, you can click on the captions themselves and make sure that before you move the captions, you select this scene. That means that whatever change you make, it's only going to be changed for that particular scene, not the entire video. So just grab the captions and move them down where they're supposed to be, like this. And now look, the scene before has the captions in the middle, but the scene after has them at the bottom, and back out again, the captions are in the middle. So that's an extra tip for you there. If you zoom in on different camera angles, Riverside allows you to position the captions differently per every scene. So, just take a second to adjust that. And also make sure your zoomed in crop looks good. Sometimes the speaker is off to one side, like you've seen with Chris in here. Just in the original recording, he wasn't really in the center. And when you zoom in, it's unbalanced. Watch this. If I click on Chris here, he's off to the side. Go to the zoom again and just slide him slightly to the left or whatever you need to do. Click outside again, and then that's fixed. That's the whole technique. No special camera, no live operator, just scenes, cropping, zooming in, and that's it in Riverside. It's quite easy to do this. And by the way, I've got a full deep dive in the cropping tool, and it's linked in the description, and another one on scene templates and saved scenes. All three of these are actually linked below. You can check them out. And if you want to learn this hands-on with me, I offer one-on-one coaching. You can book a coaching call with me. And subscribe if this video was useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.